I'm laughing about this because I know the story. But once we knew we were coming to Arizona and we knew that we were going to be in the Super Bowl and we're getting ready to come here, I think after about a week of practicing in New York, I made some brownies, and it was kind of my first time really making brownies. And when I say brownies, I think everybody knows what I mean by brownies. THC involved, and that was kind of like my celebration. Like I was excited and I wanted to have a good time. I knew it was a long flight, and I made these brownies, and I'd never done it before, and I'm like trying to figure out how to do this. So I'm not a chemist, so I didn't know how much to put in, what was enough, what wasn't enough. So I erred on the side of, well, it's probably better to put more than less. Big mistake. To anybody out there who's ever tried this, make sure you follow directions. So I remember I had these brownies and I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I didn't know. I was like, well, I'm doing it. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. So I remember after practice, go in the locker room, and I remember going in my locker and I opened up the little bag and I'm looking around like, oh my God, is anybody looking? Are any cameras on me? I'm just like super nervous, and I eat the brownie, eat the whole thing, just nice sized brownie, and taking a shower, getting dressed, putting on my suit. And I'm like, well, I don't really feel anything, let me eat one more. Okay, that was a terrible idea. You see where this story is going. So, I eat another one, get on the bus. As we're pulling up to the tarmac, I'm like, fingers are a little numb, but, okay. I knew what was happening. I could feel it, but I'm like, all right, cool. I'm glad I ate too because this is what I was looking for. So we're going through security and I'm getting my bags checked. And, now at this point, it's starting to kick in a little bit because I'm starting to act like I got like a ton of cocaine or something on me. Like, does anybody know? Can anybody see what's going on? Does everybody? And I'm like, okay, well, no, I'm good. Nobody notices. And I remember getting on a plane. And at this point, about the time the plane took off was about the same time I took off. So as we're flying about a 6-hour flight, it is intense to say the least. And I just remember laying there with my head back in the seat, and I just felt like my body was just part of the chair. And I'm just like, oh man, I think those two might have been a little too much. I may have overdone it. And my body looked asleep from the outside. If you walk by, you'd be like, wow, Russell's been asleep for 6 hours. But mentally, my mind was just everywhere on the planet. Like I just had all these epiphanies, and I was like, I solved all the world's problems, and I'm like, oh, I got the perfect play we can run. So all these things were going on in my mind. And for this 6-hour flight from New York to Arizona, I was probably as high as the airplane was. And I just remember when we landed, I was just so happy because I was like, as the plane landed, I was starting to come down too. So now I'm more of in that fog had lightened up a little bit, and I was able to be like, okay, now I can enjoy myself because that 6 hours, it was so intense. And I remember a couple guys walked by a few times, and I think they knew because they started messing with me. Russell, you okay? Yeah, I'm good, man. What's up? What are you talking about? I remember when I got off the plane, and it's funny because my son had actually brought this up. It's an episode on Hulu, and I think it's called Man in the Arena. And it's Tom Brady kind of talking about his career. And one of the episodes was him and Michael Strahan talking about that particular season of how they were flying high. Michael Strahan came in from retirement. They talked him into coming back, and he was just miserable because, we weren't doing well. He was like, why did I come out of retirement? This is BS. Oh, my God, I can't believe this. But then all of a sudden, we're in the Super Bowl. And I remember one of the clips in there had me coming off the plane. And my son was like, Dad, look at this. This is you in the Super Bowl. And all I could think was, yeah, that is. I'm like, thank God I was sober then. Because, the camera was like right in my face. And even as I'm looking at it, because I knew, I was like, you still kind of look like you might be feeling the effects there. But that was a really good trip, no pun intended there. And so, I'm telling that story, just reminiscing. Obviously, I'm not, condoning anything. You're of legal age. It's out there. And I mean, for me, I think it's good from the sense of I'd rather athletes do that than use some of the medications that are out there. But to each his own. I know different people have different opinions when it comes to that. This is just my story. That's just one of those stories you can look back on, and you could tell it now and laugh about it and have a good chuckle about it. But it was just what I did. I felt like, it kind of relaxed me a little bit. It took that edge off, and I had a good time. That was coming here and being with the team and interacting with those guys. And so once we landed and we got here in Arizona, it was business as usual. Thanks for tuning in to The Route. Don't forget to subscribe and connect with us on socials for exclusive updates. We'll see you next week.